Thank you for attending this evening's ceremony. My name is First Sergeant Dillon. I am the Senior Marine Instructor for the JROTC here at Monty Tech. On behalf of all of Monty Tech community, we welcome you to a very distinguished and honorable ceremony representing something very important and near and dear to my heart, Wreaths Across America. Thank you for making your way in this evening. I'm not going to speak a lot. You'll hear from me again, but please sit back and enjoy the ceremony.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Monty Tech Wreaths Across America Escort to Arlington, a heartfelt journey on its way to Arlington National Cemetery. I am Cadet First Lieutenant Kelsey Aikinen, your narrator for this evening. With its many volunteers, Wreaths Across America will lay over 3 million wreaths at more than 5,500 locations nationwide, culminating with a stop at Arlington National Cemetery. Close to 300,000 wreaths will be respectfully placed on the headstones of our nation's service members. This incredible effort is supported by more than 4 million volunteers, a third of whom are children, demonstrating the passing of gratitude across generations. This wreath-laying tradition began over 30 years ago and continues to be held annually on the second or third Saturday in December. The convoy starts in Harrington, Maine, and travels to Arlington National Cemetery, earning the title of the world's largest veterans parade. We are deeply honored to host one of the convoy stops along this meaningful route, and especially to pay tribute to the Gold Star and veteran family members present with us this evening. As we gather here, we embrace the Wreaths Across America motto: remember, honor, and teach. It is our duty to remember those who served, honor their sacrifices, and teach future generations about the price of freedom. Thank you for joining us in this significant tribute to our veterans and their families.
The greatest compliment I get is if someone ever tells me that I remind them of my brother.
When Josh was leaving to go to Iraq, he said, "What better way to die than to give your life for your country?"
Josh was in his Humvee leading a convoy.
He was so happy in what he was doing, and he loved his soldiers so much.
They were going down the highway. They went under a bridge, and as soon as they came out, the bomb exploded, and it went right under Josh and hit him pretty well in his heart. The driver said when the bomb hit, I didn't know what to do or say, and he said, I looked to my commander.
He said, and Josh's final words were to me to keep moving forward.
Keep moving forward, Sergeant. As soon as he said that, the sergeant said he just closed his eyes and he died.
From him giving that last command as his final words, that saved a lot of lives.
And I kept pondering over that. Keep moving forward. Keep moving forward.
And ever since then, we've all applied it to our lives.
He wrote it, his writing.
It became my mantra, kind of. It made it easier in the mornings for me to get up.
I got to thinking and pouring over it, and it just came to my heart. This is a message I've got to let other people hear about. So I decided, I think I'm gonna write a book.
It's been really motivating for me, dealing with trauma, PTSD, depression. It's easy to stop, and it's easy to continually look back.
I almost hear Josh in my ear, literally saying, "Mom, get out of bed, keep moving forward, go out and do something that makes a difference."
It's a message, one that projects hope and challenges you.
And I think it's just a good reminder that no matter what we're feeling and what we're going through, we should always try to move forward, to take a step forward.
And I believe it was not only a message to us, but it can be a message to everybody, because if we're going to continue on and make a difference in this world, we've got to keep moving forward.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the presentation of the colors by the Monty Tech MCJROTC Color Guard and the singing of the national anthem. Participating as members of tonight's Color Guard are Cadet Captain Michael Fetzner displaying the American flag, Cadet Sergeant Alexander Langtree displaying the Marine Corps battle colors, Cadet Gunnery Sergeant Aidan Therrell on left rifle, and Cadet Sergeant Lillian McKinstry on right rifle. The national anthem will be sung by Cadet First Lieutenant Mackenzie Manuel.
Color.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does the star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Thomas Brown is the current superintendent of Montechusett Regional Vocational Technical School. Mr. Brown previously served as the Monty Tech principal for 7 years. Before joining Monty Tech in 2014, he was the principal of Leominster High School for more than 7 years, where he also taught social studies. Mr. Brown was selected as the new superintendent for Monty Tech in March of 2022. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the superintendent of Monty Tech, Mr. Thomas Brown.
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the faculty, staff, and administration, I want to welcome everyone to the Montechusett Regional Vocational School. Representing 18 communities, cities, and towns spread across the Worcester County, Monty Tech brings together students and families from rural communities to urban centers, from affluent new homes to centuries-old farmhouses, from families who have roots going back decades to families who have only recently come to our country. Still, even with such diverse individual life experiences, Monty Tech is united by a common purpose. We are a family. We come together with a shared commitment to the value of an education, specifically a vocational education, one that I would humbly suggest is the most vital learning pathway that is available to high school students. It is this common conviction that brings us together as the Monty Tech community. Of course, within large communities, there are always those members who stand out for their efforts to bring accolades and foster positive perceptions from others. Without a doubt, one group that embodies such undertakings at Monty Tech is our Marine Corps JROTC battalion, or as I often describe them, the ambassadors of Monty Tech. Led by First Sergeant Shane Dillon and First Sergeant Jeremy Mickelson, with the support of their battalion student officers, our MCJROTC has long been an essential link to our communities. I've long appreciated that the instructors in the program emphasize that they do not see their mission to be the work of the recruiters by urging students to necessarily enlist in the armed forces. Instead, they are laser-focused on two goals: developing the personal leadership skills of each cadet and fostering a commitment to service in all. I will not steal First Sergeant's thunder by sharing some of their most recent community efforts, but I can assure you that our battalion is wholeheartedly dedicated to not only supporting the folks in our community who simply need a kind and compassionate hand to help them carry on, but also the wonderful organizations that help provide that direct service and support to all those in need. Which brings me to tonight's gathering. We come together to welcome, recognize, and celebrate the work of our community service partners and mentors, Wreaths across America. To all of you, the drivers and volunteers who work for the WAA Convoy, the first responders who light the way onward to Arlington, the veterans who in some cases long ago demonstrated their own commitment to serve our nation and now serve their fallen brothers and sisters, and of course the Gold Star families who have remained resilient and dedicated to ensuring that the rest of us will never forget their sacrifice and loss. Please be assured that you are an inspiration to us all. Service can happen at home, across town, throughout a county or state, but your dedication to our veterans from across the country is the embodiment of national pride. I speak for many when I say that it is an honor of the Monty Tech School District that you gave us the opportunity to recognize your commitment to service, and we hope that your journey is safe, that our fallen are never forgotten, and that when you have the time, you come back and honor us with your presence once again. I wish you all safe travels and good tidings, Merry Christmas, and Happy Holidays.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce Mayor Samantha Squalia of Fitchburg, Massachusetts. Fitchburg, the third largest city in the county, with a population of approximately 42,000, is home to over 15,000 veterans. Mayor Squalia, a lifelong resident of Fitchburg, was elected on November 7, 2023, as the city's 46th mayor and its third female leader. She is dedicated to serving the community, which includes the Montechusett Regional Vocational Technical School, a public high school offering a blend of academic and vocational education to over 1,400 students from 18 towns. Mayor Squalia currently has a sophomore daughter attending Monty Tech in the business technology trade, and this evening, Mayor Squalia is here to honor Monty Tech and the Wreaths Across America organization with a mayoral citation.
Thank you. Good evening. Welcome to Fitchburg, and welcome to Monty Tech, Montechusett Regional Vocational Technical High School. To the Wreaths Across America team, to our veterans and their families, to the Monty Tech community, and to all our guests, thank you for being here to help us remember what service and sacrifice truly mean. I have personally joined Wreaths Across America at the Massachusetts Veterans Memorial Cemetery in Winchendon, placing wreaths with two veteran friends of mine. Row after row of white stones, each with a name and a story, each wreath settled in place with a simple red hand-tied bow. It is a quiet act of honor, and it stays with you. You feel the cost of our freedoms, and you feel the responsibility that comes with them. That is the heart of this mission. Remember the fallen, honor those who serve. Teach the next generation the value of freedom. Those words are a way of life for a community that refuses to forget. When a student kneels in the cold to place a wreath, reads a name out loud, straightens the red bow, they are learning that freedom has faces. They are learning that service has families, and that every empty seat at a holiday table carries a story that we ought to honor. Here at Monty Tech, young people are training for their careers, and they are also learning what it means to be citizens of this country. Hosting the Wreaths Across America Convoy here connects these two things. It says your skills matter, and so do your values. You are inheriting a country that many have given their lives to protect. As mayor of Fitchburg, I am proud that our city is a stop on this journey. I am proud of our veterans who keep showing up for one another and for our country. I am proud of our volunteers, the beating heart of this program, for all who do the work to organize, to fundraise, and to teach. On National Wreaths Across America Day, Saturday, December 13th, 2 million volunteers will gather at over 5,000 locations in all 50 states, at sea and abroad. Today marks your invitation to that event. If you can, volunteer to place wreaths. Bring your children, your grandchildren, your students. Say the names out loud. Ask a veteran about their service and listen to their story. Carry those stories back to your classrooms, your workplaces, your kitchen tables. May we remember those that have fallen with gratitude, honor those who serve with action, and teach the next generation that freedom is precious and that it depends on each and every one of us. Thank you so much. It is my honor as Mayor of Fitchburg to present this mayoral citation to the Wreaths Across America. Be it hereby known to all that the city of Fitchburg, Massachusetts hereby offers its sincerest congratulations to Montechusett Regional Vocational Technical School community in recognition of the Wreaths Across America, the world's largest veterans parade. The entire citizenry extends its very best wishes on this memorable occasion and expresses the hope for continued good fortune. Given this 8th day of December, Samantha Squalia, Mayor of Fitchburg. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Squalia. Gold Star mothers share a very special understanding of the pain experienced with the loss of a child. During certain military holidays and memorial occasions, when you see women dressed in a white shirt, dress, and blazer with a gold star on their lapel, you're most likely looking at a Gold Star mother. From the onset, they present as a well-dressed individual attending and honoring our nation's veterans. Unseen and on the inside, they carry the grief and forever memories of the loss of a son or daughter. Today, we are honored to hear from the current president of the American Gold Star Mothers. She was elected to serve for the 25-26 term and took over from the previous president, Patty Elliott. She is a 7-year veteran of the U.S. Army and the mother of twin sons, a daughter, and a stepson. She is also the Gold Star mother of Private First Class Paul O. Kazupe II, who was killed in Operation Enduring Freedom on August 8, 2010. It is my honor and privilege to welcome Miss Annette Kirk.
Thank you, everyone. Well, I'm going to keep this as heartfelt as I possibly can without crying, because I know that there are other families in the audience. You've never heard my story. And people that I've been with the last few days, not everyone has heard the entire story. You already heard that on August 8th, 2010, I lost my oldest son, Paul. That day changed my life forever, as you all know when you were informed on that day. That was a Sunday night that will stay with me for the rest of my life. I remember exactly what I was doing. I remember exactly that I went out for a walk. And the weird thing is, I had a moment where I was on the walk and I stopped because I had this strangest feeling come over me. And I stopped and I looked up, and I don't know why, but I figured it out afterwards. I was in that shock. You all know what I'm talking about. I needed help with my grieving process. I was still working full-time. I had twin boys that were 21. One was still living at home, the other one living in Philadelphia. And, they were pretty much on their own. But I also had an 11-year-old daughter who really needed my help. I don't think I was a very good role model for her at that time, but did the best I could. She cried with me. But I did find American Gold Star Mothers, and I know it's not for everyone, but it was for me. I found that it helped me. But I also needed to find my purpose. And I volunteered here and there. And finally, in 2013, I met an Iraq War veteran of the Air Force, and he worked security forces, and he was working on an Iraq War memorial in our Veterans Park in Tampa. And yes, I live in just outside Tampa, Florida. And he said, I have just the thing for you. I think I had sucker written like right here, a little cloud above my head. But he knew that there was an Afghanistan war memorial that needed a chair. So guess who? It was me. That was my purpose. And in 2017, the war memorial was completed. It was unveiled and dedicated to the county. And that is one of my success stories. It was my purpose in life. One of the best things is I actually finished a second war memorial because it was of my era, the Gulf War. So I feel like I did it for myself, my brothers and sisters, and for my son. I hope that every Gold Star family member here finds a purpose of their own, so you can continue to grow. You need to. You must. It is something that if you do not do it, it is so harmful for your own health. And I urge you that if you are a mother, if you know that American Gold Star Mothers is not for you, that's okay. There are other organizations out there, like Wreaths Across America, because this organization has so much purpose behind it. With that being said, I'd like to read some names. I'm just going to say first names. Jeffrey, Patrick, Ryan, David, Joseph, Ross, Jonathan, Aaron, Christopher, Ronald, Zachary, John, Paul, Dustin, Christopher, I think that's twice, that's okay. Donald, Brian, Michael, David, John, and James. They all have a story that must be told. Their story is what some of us refer to as the dash. That's everything that happened in their life between birth and their last breath. And it must be told. It must be told. And it's okay to ask us about our heroes. We want to talk about them. Just remember when you're laying that wreath, when you're placing it on Saturday, if you haven't already done it, say that name and tell them thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Kirk. Ladies and gentlemen, a military flag presentation is a symbolic act of honor and gratitude, most commonly performed at a military funeral. It involves the careful unfolding, presentation, and playing of taps. The flag is then carefully folded into a triangle and presented to the next of kin, symbolizing the nation's appreciation for the service member's sacrifice and commitment. The flag is a solemn tribute from a grateful nation to the service members for their willingness to defend American freedoms. Performing a ceremonial unfolding and folding of the American flag are Cadets Major Marin Leary and Cadet Gunnery Sergeant Tyler Dillon. The playing of taps will be performed by Cadet Corporal Sarah Vento. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the playing of taps and the placement of the flags on the family memorial table.
You packed your bags and shut the door. You cried. across the sea to fight the war. You didn't know what would happen to ya. Stepped in the dirt, boots on the ground, and gunfire was the only sound. And to yourself you whispered hallelujah, 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 every day and every night, you walk the walk, you fight the fight. You never saw the end in sight, now did ya? The days are washing a haze of red, the blood, the mud, too many dead. Your weary soul was crying hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Too late to help, you heard a shot. You know you're in a deadly spot. You never thought this day would come, now did ya? Your brother falls down to the ground. Your enemy is all around. And from your lips you scream a hallelujah, 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 You fought the fight till it was done. You have the strength to carry on. You thought it'd be much better back home, now did ya? You try each day to keep pushing through, but the battle lives inside of you. It's a cold and it's a broken hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
Ladies and gentlemen, the music and songs you heard today were provided by Mr. Keith McClendon, Mr. Martin Silva, and Miss Michelle Salvinelli. Mr. McClendon is a history teacher here at Monty Tech and has been teaching for 25 years. Mr. Silva is a Spanish teacher and has been teaching at Monty Tech for 4 years. Ms. Salvinelli is a vocational teacher in the dental trade. She has been teaching in the dental trade for 19 years. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated.
Ask yourself, where would I be? What would my life be like? Was it not for our veterans who have stepped up for all of us, time and time again over the course of our nation's history? Hello, I am Miles Worcester. My grandfather is Morrow Worcester. He is the founder of Wreaths Across America, and he says he is just a wreath maker from Maine. He has been asked countless times, what is a veteran's wreath, and why do we place wreaths on veterans' graves? A veteran's wreath is made of 10 bouquets. Each bouquet describes a veteran. The first bouquet stands for a veteran's belief in greater good. The second bouquet stands for their love for one another. The third bouquet stands for a veteran's strength, work ethic, and character. The fourth bouquet stands for a veteran's honesty and integrity. The fifth bouquet stands for a veteran's humility, selflessness, and modesty. The sixth bouquet stands for a veteran's ambitions and aspirations. The seventh bouquet stands for a veteran's optimism for their fellow Americans and for our country. The eighth bouquet stands for the veteran's concern for the future and for future generations. The ninth bouquet stands for a veteran's pride to carry out their duties. The 10th bouquet and final bouquet stands for the veteran's hopes and dreams that didn't always come true, but left with no regrets. Now this wreath, made with 10 bouquets, is a symbol of honor, respect, and victory. It is made from evergreens, which symbolizes longevity and endurance. The circular shape symbolizes eternity and has no beginning and no end. Its clean forest scent symbolizes purity and simplicity. Its red bow symbolizes great sacrifice. This year, when you place a wreath on a veteran's grave, you know it's not just a wreath, it's a personal gift to an American hero. And you will swell with pride knowing that you have done something very, very special. God bless our veterans and God bless America.
Ladies and gentlemen, a salute is rendered to the wreath to show a formal tribute to the fallen service member, representing both the nation's gratitude and the individual's dedication to this country. This salute to the wreath, before and after presenting it to the family, is a solemn part of the ceremony that acknowledges the service member's honorable and faithful service. It is a sacred tradition and one of the key components in recognizing those that made the ultimate sacrifice. We ask that when each of the service members' names are read, the family member that is to receive the wreath make their way to the front of the stage to receive it. If you cannot make your way to the stage, the cadet will come to you for a presentation. Please allow the cadet to render a salute upon receiving your wreath. Presenting a sword salute as each family receives their wreath is the sword detail, consisting of Cadets Gunnery Sergeant Christian Hernandez, Gunnery Sergeant Katie Dakin, First Sergeant Charles Fetzner, and Cadet Gunnery Sergeant Ryan Ross. Lance Corporal Jeffrey R. Kayer was a United States Marine stationed with 3rd Battalion, 5th Marine Regiment, 1st Marine Division. Lance Corporal Kayer passed away on July 18, 2006, in Anbar Province, Iraq. Jeffrey is survived by his parents, Robert and Joan Kayer, his 2 brothers, Charles Kayer, Alexander Kayer, and his sister, Abigail Kayer. Accepting the wreath this evening is Jeffrey's mother, Joan Kayer. Presenting the wreath to the Kayer family is Cadet First Lieutenant Mackenzie Manuel. Sergeant Patrick C. Cumming was a United States soldier enlisted in the Massachusetts Army National Guard as an infantryman under split option enlistment, which sent him to basic combat training at Fort Benning, Georgia, where he successfully completed the Ranger Training Assessment Course, and then Army Ranger School, and eventually Army Airborne School. Patrick passed away on March 17, 2024. Accepting the wreath this evening is Patrick's mother and father, Melissa and Robert Cumming. Presenting the wreath to the Cumming family is Cadet Gunnery Sergeant Madalena Algarin. First Lieutenant Ryan Patrick Jones was a United States soldier assigned to the 4th Brigade Special Troops Battalion, 4th Brigade Combat Team, 1st Infantry Division out of Fort Riley, Kansas. He was killed in action on May 2, 2007 in Baghdad, Iraq during Operation Iraqi Freedom. Accepting the wreath this evening is Ryan's mother and father, Elaine and Kevin Jones. Presenting the wreath to the Jones family is Cadet Sergeant Major Nicholas Gerard. Staff Sergeant David Kowaleski was a United States soldier for 13 years, assigned to the 10th Special Forces out of Fort Devens, Massachusetts. In 1998, and while traveling on a final convoy trip to Wyoming before deploying to Bosnia, David was caught in a vehicle accident that resulted in ultimately his death. Accepting the wreath this evening is David's wife, Susie Kowaleski. Presenting the wreath to the Kowaleski family is Cadet First Sergeant Abigail Jerome. OS2 Joseph McCumsey was a United States sailor. He joined the Navy when he was 19 and served on the USS Nimitz and the USS Tarawawa. He passed away on May 19, 2010, at the age of 24. Accepting the wreath this evening is Joseph's mother and father, Donna and Rick McCumsey. Presenting the wreath to the McCumsey family is Cadet Gunnery Sergeant Beckett Campbell. Captain Ross Reynolds was a United States Marine stationed with VMM 261 Osprey Squadron, Marine Corps Air Station in New River. Ross died during a training exercise in Norway on March 18, 2022. Accepting the wreath this evening is Ross's mother and father, Catherine and Scott Reynolds. Presenting the wreath to the Reynolds family is Cadet Staff Sergeant Landon Martin. Private First Class Jonathan Roberge was a United States soldier with 3rd Battalion, 8th Cavalry Regiment, 3rd Brigade Combat Team, 1st Cavalry Division out of Fort Hood, Texas. He was killed in action on February 9, 2009 in Mosul, Iraq during Operation Iraqi Freedom. Accepting the wreath this evening is Jonathan's mother, Pauline Roberge. Presenting the wreath to the Roberge family is Cadet Staff Sergeant Nicholas Sherman. Corporal Aaron K. Sullivan Alley was a United States Marine assigned to Marine Wing Support Squadron 272 in New River, North Carolina. She passed away on May 31st, 2001. Accepting the wreath this evening is her mother and father, Ellen and Mike Sullivan. Presenting the wreath to the Sullivan Alley family is Cadet Corporal Emmanuel Fernandez. Captain Christopher J. Sullivan was a United States soldier attached to 1st Battalion, 5th Cavalry Regiment, 1st Cavalry Division out of Fort Hood, Texas. He was killed in action on January 18, 2005 in Baghdad, Iraq, during Operation Iraqi Freedom. Accepting the wreath this evening is Christopher's mother and father, Dolly and Jim Sullivan. Presenting the wreath to the Sullivan family is Cadet Captain Cassidy Micah. Lance Corporal Ronald Valentin was a United States Marine postal clerk attached to Marine Corps Forces Pacific, assigned to Camp Hansen, Okinawa, Japan. He passed away on September 6, 2018. Accepting the wreath this evening is Christopher's mother, Gloria Ortiz. Presenting the wreath to the Valentin family is Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Olivia Michaud. Private First Class Zachary T. Arsenal was a United States soldier with Company H, 2nd Battalion, 11th Armored Cavalry Regiment. He passed away on April 1, 2019. He is survived by his mother, Tara Rivers of Winchendon, his brothers, Caleb Arsenal, Jace Morales, and Giovanni Morales, all of Winchendon. His family could not be here this evening to accept the wreath, but it will be forwarded to them for display. Private John W. Hinckley was a United States soldier. Prior to enlisting in the Army, he graduated from Winthrop High School in 1938 and was employed at Sample Shipyard in Boothbay Harbor, Maine. He enlisted into the Army on December 28, 1943, and was attached to Company M, 110th Infantry Regiment, 28th Infantry Division, 8th Corps, 3rd Army, 12th Army Group. On or about December 20th, 1944, he was captured in Luxembourg by German forces and transported to Bad Orb prison camp, Camp Stalag, near the Polish-Czech-German border. Remaining there until April 2nd, 1945, he was eventually released by American forces. Private Hinckley, thinking that a telegram had been sent home, explaining his recent release, made quite a surprise when he returned home to Randolph, Maine. Upon opening the door to an unexpected knock at midnight, Mrs. John Hinckley Jr. of School Street found her husband standing on the doorstep. To everyone's amazement and relief, John was rejoined with his entire family. Private Hinckley's dedication to service and strength to endure cannot be overstated. As we recognize the anniversary of the attack on Pearl Harbor just yesterday, December the 7th, we are reminded that service to this country during such a tumultuous time in our nation's history serves as a reminder of the great men and women we have in the armed forces, willing to stand for what our country represents. Accepting a POW MIA flag and a wreath this evening is John's three sons. Presenting the wreath and POW MIA flag to the Hinckley family is Cadet Major Marin Leary and Cadet Gunnery Sergeant Tyler Dillon. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for a round of applause to all of our Gold Star and veteran families. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Immediately upon the creation of Wreaths Across America in 2007, Karen Dow Wister was chosen for the position of Executive Director by the Board of Directors. With over 35 years of experience in the administrative stewardship of the various Wister family enterprises, Karen is well known as a passionate champion and spokesperson. As a volunteer and co-founder of Wreaths Across America, Karen tenaciously works on the ways the organization can best remember the fallen, honor those who serve, and teach our children that our freedoms are purchased at a great cost. Equally passionate about her family, Karen is a mother to 6 children and 9 grandchildren. Her favorite hobby is participating in and preparing for equestrian events, as well as tending to the family farm. Please give a warm welcome to Miss Karen Wister.
Thank you. That was a pretty good lead up for somebody who's never prepared something to say in her life. So I just want to say, wow, there was a lot here, a lot for me to unpack, because there are a lot of things, a lot of people that I've grown to know and love over 17 years. And I want to talk about remember, honor, teach, but everybody's already done that so eloquently. So I want to talk about a mother here with a mother's heart who had some very dear friends with mother's heart, some new friends, Annette, who I see Gold Star mothers, and somebody spoke about they dress in white and they're always there helping each other. But you know what else they dress in? Red, white, and blue. Red, white, and blue. These moms who buried their children fighting for this country are the first ones to dress in red, white, and blue. You think about that. Let that sink in a little bit. And when they were saying the names of their loved ones that passed, all I could think of was the names of my loved ones that are here, my grandchildren. I've got Jonah and Abe and Josiah here. And then to make it even worse, the wreath video, that little boy talking is now a 17-year-old young man who just joined the Air National Guard. So what I take from all of this, and what is the most important thing to me about our mission, and by the way, I'm talking back and forth to home because we have a lot going on, and every time we go through a town and there's a little story, and there's always a hater. you ever notice that? There's always a hater. And so I'm talking back to our PR people today, and they said, well, some woman called and they said this whole convoy thing has become a spectacle. Yay! I love it. I get a little angry when I turn on the news and this side and they're fighting about their rights, and this one's offended and that one's hurt and this one's mad and this one's gone. The politicians are going at each other. Come talk to these people. They got skin in the game. And if we don't start showing these names of my grandchildren, the future is lost. They have to understand. So I get thinking, I want to know from these women. I want to know from these families, these loved ones who buried family members for freedom. Makes your heart beat to love this country so much, because we better find it out and we better feed it to the next generation right now. That's what they need to know. I was told by Roger Donlin, those of you who know me have heard me quote this a million times. Roger Donlin was the first Medal of Honor recipient of the Vietnam War. And I asked him one day, what's the most important thing as an organization that we can do? He didn't even take a breath. Before I was done, he said, teach our kids to love this country again. And it is that tenacity and love for this country that came to these young men and women that died from those parents who still haven't buried their children wear red, white, and blue. That's what we need to get back to. We need to put the differences aside and know that the country that we have and the freedoms that we have allow our kids to fight because they want to fight, allow us to be who we want to be in a free land. So when I go down the road of this convoy, today we saw thousands of kids, and I'll get sad and then I'll get elated, because I know, just having met Annette, and I told her today, I said, when you see these little concerts or when you see these kids doing wreath presentations, you got to be thinking of your own child. It has to take you back, and the memories have to be bittersweet. So life is hard, but what we have in this country is so good. It's so good. So let's make a spectacle. Let's do it. Saturday, let's make a spectacle. Let's say the names. Let's take kids to the cemetery and say the names and get back to what we need to get back to. You know what I call it? Remember, you'll never forget, although here's a factor. This is the other thing. No offense, all my friends who've made this convoy with me for a long time. We're getting old. I said this in my meetings this week. I said, we're aging out. The age of the people coming on the convoy. We can't just remember. We can't just honor. If we don't teach it, and we don't teach it in a way that they can feel it, that like when you hear the national anthem, you feel it. You don't just memorize the words, you feel it. We got to bottle that up. So let's make a spectacle, and let's really grasp that, and let's teach it to the kids in a way they understand. And the only way I know how to teach these kids how to love this country is through the stories, real heroes, through the tears of Gold Star families. That's why you bring them to see these events. That's why I look at those of you who have served, and I just thank you so much, so that the names that I say are my kids and my grandkids, and that they have what they have. So I don't know if any of that made sense at all, but that's what's in my heart. And I just feel so blessed to be here, and God bless America.
Thank you, Ms. Wister.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I know the only thing that stands between you and a really good warm meal is me talking, so I'm going to try to finish this up quick. But there are a couple important things that we need to cover at the end. First and foremost, I want to make a correction. There is a family here. It seems to be that the name was switched around. I'm not quite sure what happened, but Ms. Ortiz, could you go ahead and stand up? I want to make recognition of their son, who was also very important, very dear to us, and I don't want to minimize that by having the name have changed up. So please, ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for the family. So Monty Tech was fortunate enough to get this convoy back after a long hiatus. I think the last time you guys were here was about 2017, if I remember. And I had just gotten to Monty Tech. I was a brand new Marine instructor, and I had no idea what Wreaths Across America was. I feel embarrassed that I didn't know about it, but I didn't. And what I saw as it unfolded in here was something remarkable. The community came together just as they did tonight, and a lot of people were recognized, and it really was important to me to see that unfold. I tried really hard to get Wreaths to come back to Monty on several occasions and talk to what I thought were the right people, but as time went by, I was wondering if that was the case. However, last year, I was fortunate enough to be in the presence of the Worcesters at a memorial celebration in Princeton, Mass. And I was reintroduced to the Worcesters. Not quite sure if they remembered me. I don't know how they could forget it. I'm a good-looking guy. But I walked up to the couple and I said, hey, folks, I'm First Sergeant Dillon, Monty Tech. You came down to our school. Love to have you back. I think that was my entire agenda. And the first thing Karen said was, do you guys still have that sleigh? And I'm like, wow, out of all things she would remember. And that sleigh, incidentally, I don't even think was a part of our ceremony that day. However, she remembered this sleigh that we had in the back of our classroom that, I got to tell you, sat there for some time. I didn't know the history behind it. I know it was a prop used sometimes for Toys for Tots, but a pretty cool-looking piece. So I talked a little bit about maybe a negotiation. I said, I says, if the convoy happened to pull in to Monty Tech, you might be able to load that sleigh up. And we didn't make no more about it. We finished our conversation and went on. So that sleigh, folks, is a one-horse sleigh. It's a one-horse open sleigh. I'm going to read a little bit of the history of that sleigh because I felt obligated to find out about it. A one-horse sleigh is a light, open two-person vehicle mounted on runners and pulled by a single horse. Open refers to the absence of a roof, and one horse indicates its compact, lightweight design, ideal for winter travel and recreation. This sleigh, in particular, the one we're talking about, was restored by a gentleman named George Doc Frago. He was a retired Fitchburg firefighter, a Navy corpsman, a Vietnam veteran, Purple Heart recipient, and a life member and former chaplain of the North Central Marine Corps League. A lifelong servant of others, Doc was an EMT, a member of the National Ski Patrol, and an active Leominster Lions Club member. He also supported the Toys for Tots, as I spoke about. He helped fundraise for the Muscular Dystrophy Association and volunteered with the Needs Service Dog, where he trained dogs and co-founded Canines for Combat Veterans. Pretty distinguished gentleman. Doc was also a devoted friend and supporter of the Monty Tech Marine Corps JROTC program from 2004 until his passing on November 12, 2013. Painted in Marine Corps scarlet red and bearing the Marine Corps League crest, this sleigh stands as a tribute to all who have served. So, we thought it would be only fitting that sleigh make its way back up to Maine eventually and be put in a place of prominence if you so choose. And I'm sure you must have a place in your mind. So without further ado, Ms. Worcester, if you would come up to the stage area. Oh, there it is. So much. Thank you for what you do.
Oh my God.
We heard you were stopping up at the North Pole, and I said, I could stop. They can stop, I can stop, with a very special gift for all you special people.
So in addition, folks, this special gift, I got to tell you, grassroots organization, this cadet battalion has 170 cadets, and they were able to go out and support the Wreaths Across America this year with donations collected in the amount of $30,000.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause for the Monty Tech JROTC cadets and all of those who contributed to today's Wreaths Across America Escort to Arlington Cemetery. This concludes our ceremony for this afternoon. Members of the Wreaths Across America Convoy staff and invited guests are asked to join us in the school cafeteria for dinner.